I think it's pretty serious, Michael. This is probably the biggest crisis that Keir's faced in his leadership because it's a sort of visceral issue for many people in the party, but sort of two factions within the party. One is what you might call the sort of peace faction, the sort of traditional left, and the second is obviously for the Muslim community who feel particularly strongly about what's going on in Gaza and the unfairness as they perceive it of the treatment between Israel and Gaza by Keir and by the senior team. So it is serious, and we'll see how it plays out over the next couple of days. I think today's news that certain supplies are being restored and that there's a bit more of a focus on aid in the south of Gaza will help. But I can tell you that Sir Keir's waking up every morning wish he hadn't misspoken, to use that phrase, because the LBC interview was a bit of a mess and he sort of got himself literally tongue-tied. And so that gave a chink that people have exploited to go beyond just criticising him for appearing to condone the water and electricity being switched off into calling for a ceasefire, which is, in my view, a mistake.
What do you make of the electoral calculations? There was some talk that Labour would be in danger of losing seats because of seats that have a high Muslim vote. But I was thinking that in England, anyway, that seems pretty improbable. Those seats are unlikely to go to the Conservatives. I doubt whether they go to the Liberal Democrats. I guess in Scotland, more of an issue. There are seats there where the SNP's position would be seen to be less pro-Israeli anyway than the Labour Party's position. Is that part of the fear?
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, I'm old enough to remember during the Iraq War what happened, and you had seats with large Muslim populations which literally just switched to the Liberal Democrats overnight. Now in those seats, the Liberal Democrats get 1 or 2%. And of course, when Charles Kennedy was leading the Liberal Democrats, his one big policy was opposition to the Iraq War, which won Muslim support. We haven't heard from the Lib Dems at the moment, and it's interesting to see if we do anything that would give, which would give effectively disgruntled voters on the centre-left who are angry about Keir's position on Israel and Hamas somewhere to go. So, as you say, only in Scotland is there somewhere obvious for them to go. But people do worry, but the thing that the public don't sort of think about very much, but politicians certainly do, which is the internal electorate, the selectorate within the parties. And obviously, in Muslim-majority areas, the Labour Party will be heavily dominated by Muslim members. Add in the left of all ethnicities, and therefore people worry about their own position. I mean, what's interesting is two of the people on not in the shadow cabinet, but in the junior front bench who are on the resignation watch are the two MPs for Luton, which is a heavily Muslim town, and the Labour Party will be very, very closely entwined with the Muslim community. Neither of them are of Muslim heritage themselves. They're both on diametrically opposite ends of the party. One's, a sort of Starmerite at heart, and one's a sort of traditional lefty Corbynite. But they're both allegedly threatening to resign because they're worried about pressure, both from their voters but also from their members.